Ultimus 7 is here. And we also got 5 new characters and this big update, and we're talking about all of that in your weekly news update right after this word from our sponsor. ClanHQ is a new, fully featured messaging app, and it's got all your favorite bells and whistles like all the other messaging apps out there. But what sets ClanHQ apart is it allows you to integrate your game data right into the app, and it makes it so easy when you are trying to recruit for your alliance or when you are looking for an alliance. And they also just added voice and video calling capabilities. Yo, Khasino, what's up, man? And also a new dark mode was just recently added to make the app a little easier on your eyes, guys. And hey, the best part about ClanHQ, they're adding new features all the time to the app, so it's just getting better and better and better, and you could be one of the first in your alliance to use it. Plus, in addition to Marvel's Strike Force, ClanHQ supports over 75 other games, including Contest of Champions, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and many, many others. So check it out, guys, and make sure you use the link in the description. So check out ClanHQ, guys, but if you're ready to talk all about this update and all of the news of this past week, let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. A little under the weather, but it is time for the news, guys. Rain or shine, it is time. And we had an update drop. We had 5 new characters come out, and it is a big, big week. What is up, brother Khasino? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling sick. That was me a few weeks back, but you know, here, whether we're sick or not, we get the news video done. So this is a big one. I'm looking at your list of topics that you drew up for us.
There are a lot
I'm happy to do a lot of talking since you're not feeling that well, as I usually do.
Yes.
I'll run my big mouth, but I got a lot of thoughts on a lot of this stuff, and it's a lot, so this could be a long one, so buckle up. It
probably will, and as usual, guys, there will be timestamps in the description, and yeah, if there's a specific topic you want, click on that. We are going to get into it, though, and hopefully you keep me in track. I'm on a little NyQuil, a little loopy, but hopefully you keep me on track. This let's start with the 1-chip challenge. My stomach was a little sore after that for about a day, and then the rest of it started. How are you feeling after that 1-chip challenge?
So obviously, like, the heat in eating it was every bit as painful as like the hottest sauce from Hot Ones. You said it was a little bit hotter. I found it was about as hot as the hottest one from Hot Ones, but it could have been slightly hotter. But there was no ramp up, right? We just ate the chip out of nowhere. So going from 0 to 60 was a terrible idea. But that, you know, after like 10 minutes of that, it wasn't so bad. But so I made a rookie mistake that you should not do. I had it on an empty stomach. Like, all I'd had for breakfast was like half a cheese stick. I gave the other half to like my dog. And I had a little protein shake early in the morning. So I had it on an empty stomach, and it literally felt like I drank battery acid. Like, for like a half hour. I literally, this was in the middle of a 12-hour stream. I was like, I literally do not feel good enough to sit up. I'm so sorry. I'll be back. And I literally just went and laid on the bathroom floor on my back for like 30 minutes because my intestines were exploding. So yeah, it was a horrible idea. Thank you for that. And apparently you're trying to get us to do some insanely hot chocolate now.
Yes, I've seen a chocolate bar. I've seen this lollipop that's supposed to be super hot. There's some peanuts. So I don't know. Maybe. I'll probably need a little bit to recover because the heat was one thing, but the effect on my stomach, I don't know if it has anything to do with me being sick or not. But yeah, we'll need some recovery time. But I would like to do something like that again. We'll see, though. We'll see what you guys think about that. But more important stuff. Let's get into the MSF stuff. 5 new characters were announced soon after we did the news report last week, and I think everybody thought it'd be Ghost Rider, Elsa, Hela. The last 2 were kind of up in the air. I thought it might be the Asgardians to go with Hela, or maybe Beast and Cyclops, because I think they're done already, but it's not. It was Stryfe and Mr. Sinister. What are your thoughts on these new characters that we just got with this update?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot to say. We got 5 totally different
You want to break them down one by one?
Yeah, I guess let's break them down one by one.
Let's go Ghost Rider first. I know you just unlocked him. I don't know if you had a chance to play with him yet, but what are your thoughts on Ghost Rider? either kit-wise or first-hand-wise?
So I mean, I have Ghost Rider. I've powered him up a good amount, but I'm waiting. I'm actually going to get my first hands-on Ghost Rider experience right after this video.
Okay, nice.
But I mean, I like the character. I played Marvel Contest Champions. He was really strong there. He's a pretty cool character. I find his kit interesting. I don't think that he's unbelievably powerful must-have, but he fills a really good spot in the game, which is fully completing the Mystic campaign is a really, really, really good thing to do. Yes. But it was kind of like veering off and investing a ton of resources, and the only benefit was getting to be able to refresh the campaign, which again is very valuable, but a lot of people couldn't swallow the bitter pill of powering up their Mystics to go do it, even though it pays off. You can farm Vision, and I think Loki might be in there.
Loki, I think Storm's in one of the earlier nodes as well, yeah.
And I mean the items, just having additional nodes you can farm for like laser torches and phosphates and all that stuff is very, very big. Yeah. So now there's 3 of the characters you should definitely use, and I haven't really messed around much with Ghost Rider, and obviously we don't have Elsa to see how they do in the Mystic campaign, but Mordo, Scarlet Witch, and Loki are obviously all excellent. Doctor Strange, really, really good for the Mystic campaign. So now you can invest in those characters, and it's not a waste. You can kind of pivot from there into a really good arena team. Not the best arena team, but if you're just first now clearing your Mystic campaign, you're probably not like endgame arena meta. So I really like what Ghost Rider brings, which is like now the option. And like at that stage of the game, most people's arena is like Defenders. Some people got Guardians of the Galaxy, the Guardians of the Galaxy with Minerva, stuff like that. And they're really strong into that. So I love them as a mid-game team. But I haven't gotten that much experience with Ghost Rider, but his kit looks good. The one thing I want to see is people pointed this out, so we'll check back on this in a week, but characters that have drain when they kill someone, normally the drain, they don't actually heal if they kill the target. It's just the way it's coded, where it kills the target, and then it looks to see how much damage it did to the target to heal, but it doesn't find the target once they're gone to see how much damage it did to them. Yeah. So drain doesn't work on kill, and Ghost Rider's ult is huge, and if he's charged, it does so much drain and so much damage, so it's usually going to kill someone, and it's very important that he gets that drain. It's like 200% drain. So just interested to see if that's working as intended or not.
Hopefully they fixed it. I know they put the animations back on with this update. I saw Colossus throw Wolverine a little earlier, so hopefully they fixed the drain mechanic and Ghost Rider works properly. Let's move on to his counterpart in the Supernatural team, Elsa Bloodstone. What are your thoughts on her and her value in the Supernatural team?
She's interesting. She's a pretty standard blaster. She brings good damage. She doesn't really bring any particularly good utility, but she has some interesting stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, she is probably the best counter if you're facing enemies that like dodge a lot or blind a lot.
Vision.
Yeah, the Spider-Man, the Vision, all those guys. And then I like the blinds like Magneto and even Star-Lord and stuff. She punishes you for blinding. She punishes you for dodging. So I like that aspect of her. It makes her interesting. I don't think she's a must-have or anything, and I could be wrong on this. It's way too early to say, but I feel like she's the most replaceable one on that team.
That was my first impression of her as well. I had a comment on that in the mailbag, and who would you replace? And I thought Elsa probably the most replaceable. At least on paper. Maybe when we play them, it's totally different. Right. But on paper, it seems like she's the most replaceable out of that team.
Exactly. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But she's an interesting character. She has a niche, and obviously she makes sense for the Halloween event. But I mean, of all the characters, I'm not jumping out of my seat excited for Elsa, but I definitely want to see how she handles on the team.
She looks better than Van Helsing.
Yeah.
All right, now we got the 2 characters. Instead of going to the rest of the characters, let's just talk about this Supernatural team as a whole. I know they were built as this mid-game arena team. They could, on paper, they should be able to take out most of the teams, except if you have maybe a Phoenix or an Ultron. But what are your thoughts on this entire team? Where do you think they're going to fit into this game as a whole?
Well, like I said, again, they've kind of smoothed the natural progression. Actually, a lot of people have been asking, like, how does this work? I found this surprising. Almost half the questions people were asking me about the Supernatural team were like, all right, so I'm using Valley's new player guide, and do you think I'm right about where I'm fitting this in his order? And I think it makes a very smooth, natural transition. Start with defenders, clear the hero campaign, clear the Nexus campaign, try to get to at least 30% in Ultimus 6. Once your defenders are pretty strong, start working on your Guardians. You want to be able to clear Cosmic campaign and get Star-Lord. And then as soon as you're done with that, I think it makes sense to clear your Mystic campaign. And we don't know how, like after the initial release, we don't know how you're going to get Ghost Rider or Elsa, but they're that perfect mid-game team where it makes sense. Like it's a step up from Guardians Vision, Guardians Minerva to go for that Mystic team. And it makes sense to clear the Mystic campaign. So I don't think super endgame they're going to be crazy competitive, but you know they're a really solid like mid-game transitioning to endgame team. They'll help you, you know, still see returns in arena even when you're, you know, investing in clearing the Mystic campaign. So I think that's kind of their spot. We'll obviously use them for War and for Blitz. So
yeah. So some of the comments I heard is that they probably would be a good counter to this Coulson team. And because they weren't out at the time, we were playing on the test server. We didn't get to test this team against the Coulson team, see how they work. Just theory crafting wise, how do you think they'll do against this Coulson team in War? Because they have some good synergy.
I don't think they'll do well at all.
Not at all? Okay.
Even though there are benefits, and I'm interested to see who gets killed. But so at the end of the day, right, the only defense up they have is Scarlet Witch's special. And just like Coulson is going to offense up everyone. They've got all these crits. The Fury Shield team's all going to go first. They all have immunity. So this is a whole Mystic team. They're throwing out tons of debuffs. Yeah. None of these debuffs are doing anything to that Fury Shield team at all. So that's not good right off the bat. It's not helping them because of the immunities. And then like Coulson's going to kill someone, but because they don't have defense up, they're not very tanky.
It could be Ghost Rider. I'm thinking it might be Ghost Rider because he's probably going to have the most damage, and then Doctor Strange could bring him back to life. Maybe, I don't know. At least not at this point. At 4 stars. I mean, once these teams are completely built, maybe
even maxed out. He does bleed damage. So normally characters with bleed, it's got to be Elsa. Elsa's probably going to be top damage if I had to guess. So they'll probably kill her. Which, you know, like can give out energy if you have them maxed out. But again, I'm just thinking like the opening barrage from Fury Shield is just going to be, they're just going to kill several people. I mean, I guess Strange does get a double revive.
Yes, I want to try him. I'll leave it at that. I want to try it. They might not win, but I do want to test them out. I definitely don't want to go against AIM with this team, right?
Yeah, probably not.
AIM seems like they'll smoke this team. All right, let's move on to some of the other characters, unless you have anything else about this Supernatural team that you want to discuss.
No, yeah, I'm interested to see how they handle a bunch of matchups. The only other thing I'll say is a lot of their like high synergy abilities are locked behind T4s for their passives. So I really want to see them in action. But like you said, we didn't get to, you know, use them on a playtest server or anything when we were at Voxnix. We didn't get to test them. And in addition to those two things, I'm not going to have T4s for them with all the new characters coming out. I want to use T4s firstly for a couple characters I've been ignoring that I really need for Ultimus 7 now. Like I have to do Thanos' passive pretty soon here, stuff like that. And then with the new characters, like I want to see that team in action, but having like Mr. Sinister abilities, if assuming that, you know, we're going to be able to get him easily, who knows, but stuff like that. So I'm kind of, I don't have the T4s, and they need like at least four, I think, to really shine. So
yeah, I like Doctor Strange's new move. Mordo could use a couple as well. Mordo just with his old special and then his passive. But let me ask you something. You said you didn't do Thanos' passive yet?
No, I've been putting that off. I know it's
one of the best.
Goodness. Well, so I'll tell you why. Because I've only been using Thanos really in Blitz and in Ultimus 6. And Ultimus 6, I just raffle stomp anyway. And Blitz, it's been fine. Okay. I know it's good. I know I need to do it, but I haven't needed to do it. And I try to show off new characters. Like I already have 2 tier 4s on Coulson, so
Okay. Oh, nice. All right, we're gonna talk about Coulson, but yeah, this supernatural team looks fun. I mean, this was billed as the complete team, where some of these other characters that look very, very strong, they were billed as pieces to teams, or at least the email that we got about that. So let's move on to some of these really interesting characters. The first one I want to talk about, Mr. Sinister, because I like his kit a lot. I'm not sure between Hela and Mr. Sinister, but both of them look very, very strong. What are your thoughts on Mr. Sinister and his cloning, the new mechanic that was rumored a few weeks ago?
So the first thing is, people are asking me all kinds of questions about the Marauders. Like, all right, so what's the new best Marauder team? What do we do with Brotherhood? All these questions. And so the first thing is, we were explicitly told when they gave us the info, they said these are not complete teams.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, like, the Marauders isn't a complete team. Like, can you make a cobbled together strong team? Of course, but I'm not that worried about it because we don't even know what the full Marauder team is going to be. We don't know how easy or hard it will be to get Mr. Sinister. So all these people trying to plan around having him, and for all we know, we're not going to get him for 5 months or who knows. So I'm not worried about that. There's a lot to unpack with the Marauders, and but they look very strong. So the cloning thing in particular has generated more questions than answers. So I started asking the devs because I don't know if you noticed in the footage we got, there's some fishiness. The first fishiness is the Kingpin he clones is clearly weaker than he is, and then the Kingpin he cloned. Not as weak as a normal summon, but you can just look at the notches in the health bar. It's not that strong of a Kingpin.
Yeah, so I think it's maybe a percentage of Mr. Sinister's
right, but
or something.
Wouldn't it say that somewhere though? It didn't. We haven't seen anything that says how strong or how weak it's supposed to be. So I know
it said is based on Mr. Sinister's power, not the
Right. All it said is it scales with his stats. Yeah, but if it scales with his stats at a 20% rate, that's different. But it doesn't say that, clear. So we don't know how. Right, it's very unclear. I've asked for clarification. I've explicitly asked them, is there any stat reduction? Like, do they make them weaker? And what I was told was, that's old footage. Ignore the footage. I'm telling you, it just scales with him. It scales with his star tech. It scales with his red star. Scales with his gear.
That's still unclear, though, right? The scaling. They don't know how the percentage that it scales.
Well, again, they said there's no stat reduction.
Okay.
Taken from that is it's 1-to-1. If you got a 7 gold star, 4 red star, level 75 Mr. Sinister, you should make a 7 gold star, 4 red star, level 75 clone. That's not what we saw in the footage.
That does make sense, yeah.
That's what it's supposed to happen. Now, that's not what we saw in the footage.
Yes,
but
that's true.
There's something else we saw in the footage that we know for a fact isn't right, or at least, again, I've been told isn't right. So in the footage they sent us, the Summon Kingpin, of course, has all his abilities. The summons are going to have all their abilities. However, when he uses his special to summon, he doesn't summon anything. He just raises his hand in the air, and nothing happens. No one drops down. So right away, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Can clones not summon? And again, I was told, ignore that footage. That's old footage. Yes, clones can summon. And then I was told this interesting nugget, which is clones can summon, and it's like totally normal. Like the summons are going to be the same normal power as anyone else. There's one exception. Cloned phoenixes can summon Dark Phoenix, but the cloned phoenixes in particular summon a weaker version of Dark Phoenix. So of course I asked, how much weaker? Haven't gotten an answer. So
there's a lot of complexity to cloning.
Yes, there's a lot of questions we don't have answered.
Makes me wonder about Ultron as well. What's going to happen to Ultron? Without his summons, he's just not that good. So.
Well, again, we were told clones can summon. Okay. And the weirder thing, like Ultron's another one of those cases where it's like, okay, if I have 4 red stars on my Mr. Sinister and clones scale with red stars, can I have a 4 red star Ultron clone?
Oh my goodness, there's so much to this. There
is. It's a giant mess of things we don't understand. I need to do a Q&A. It's spaghetti everywhere. But there's some other interesting ones. But so I do want to point this out, and then we'll talk about a couple of really crazy things. But so, what was I going to say with the clones? Oh, a lot of people are like, what happens if Mr. Sinister clones a Mr. Sinister? And yes, you can do that. And then yes, the Mr. Sinister clone should also be able to clone. However, that's not as good of an idea as it sounds, because the only reason Mr. Sinister can clone on turn 1 is because on spawn, if he's a non-clone, he gains 3 ability.
Yeah, he gets that. Yeah.
If you clone a Mr. Sinister, he's not a non-clone.
Yeah.
So clone Mr. Sinister can't do shit for 3 turns. Now, you can feed the clone energy, but it's probably better to just feed the energy to your own Mr. Sinister and just let him clone again.
Yeah, probably best to clone somebody else.
He can keep cloning you. Who cares? Keep cloning the same person. But the point is, you're probably better just funneling energy to your Mr. Sinister. I don't know if it's the best idea to clone a Mr. Sinister. I mean, maybe. We'll see. But so that's the first thing. But then so we're going to kind of bounce all over the place. But there's a few things with this patch where I'm like, I'm excited to see. I think there's going to be some chaos this patch.
Really? With a patch? You think there's going to be chaos with a patch?
No, I don't mean bugs. I mean design things that were overlooked in the design process.
Yeah.
So how close are we to talking about Hela? Because I have a lot to say about cloning and Hela, but I don't think we're
all right.
We're there
let's come back to her. Let's go on with Stryfe, finish the Marauders, and then we'll go to the Hela and the Asgardians.
All right, we'll come back. But let's do that. All right.
Let's kind of keep it in some order. Let's go Stryfe and Marauders real quick, then we'll go to Hela. What are your thoughts on Stryfe?
Sure. I like Stryfe. I'm surprised if quite a few people have been like, oh God, Stryfe looks like the new craziest tank. Like, he doesn't actually look like that impressive of a tank. Like, I don't think he'll be a bad tank, but I don't think he's an incredible tank. He's definitely a pretty selfish tank. He's really just Mr. Sinister's bodyguard.
He's like the shield security to Nick Fury or the Colossus to Phoenix. Much better with that lead character than without her.
Yeah, and I think the closest comparison is like Juggernaut and Magneto. Like, Juggernaut's an alright tank. Juggernaut with Magneto is a way better, way scarier tank. Still not the best tank, but very formidable. So I think that's where we're at. Is Stryfe looks alright. He doesn't blow my mind, but with Mr. Sinister he'll be a pain, and then Mr. Sinister will be a pain. So the two of them already, not looking forward to that. But
and the potential 2 extra turns every time Mystique and what is his name? Sabretooth is on the field, right? Because they have a potential to attack again with an additional attack, right? With both of them.
Yeah, they'll both attack on non-damaging abilities, but I mean, Stryfe only has the one non-damaging ability, I think, is the special, because his ult is damaging. So it's just whenever he uses his special. So yeah, but it'll depend, because Mr. Sinister is the one who has the special that doesn't do any damage and the ult that doesn't do any damage. So it's kind of like they're designed to attack on Mr. Sinister's behalf more than Strife's. But
they're to help the whole team. This is what I'm talking about. The NyQuil's I'm getting a little. Let's go into the Marauders and let's see if any more strikes.
Oh no, this is a big mess. Like, this patch, they threw, not only did they throw 5 characters at us, they're like 5 really complex characters, and there's some, like, in addition to all their kits to try to figure out, there's details missing that we don't have, and then it's like they're not a full team, but they pull people off of another team. So yeah, this is a very messy patch.
And the footage that they sent wasn't, they say is not what's actually going to be the game mechanics. This.
So I think they were on something heavier than NyQuil when they did all this.
Oh, we're going to get into a little more stuff about that, about some other things with this patch. But all right, any other thoughts on Marauders? I know you want to get onto Hela.
I do, so I can go back to Marauders.
Okay. But, all right. What do you want to do?
Here's where I'll end on Marauders for now.
Okay.
They're not a full team, and we don't know how we're going to get them. So people are asking, like, what is the best Marauder team? I guess the best Marauder team is Stryfe, Mr. Sinister, Sabretooth, Mystique, and then Magneto, because the other 2 Brotherhood are still designed to have synergy with Magneto. Yeah. And people are like, well, that breaks up my Brotherhood. So what do I do if I want to, use like Venom and Miles on the Brotherhood? I'll send Mystique and Sabretooth over to Marauders, but then they need a 5th. And so, I mean, if they need a 5th, some kind of utility is best. So something like a Merc Lieutenant or something.
They used the Hand Sorceress in the footage they sent us. Maybe.
Well, yeah.
Maybe that. I don't know.
I don't know about all that.
She doesn't really have a home, so maybe.
No, but they used 2 mercenary minions in the Asgardian footage. Like Cable, because he's a mutant, is like an okay option. But yeah, I mean, there's just, there's a lot of options with that team. Kingpin, if you're not using him somewhere, good for the buffs and all the villain assists, and he does 2 abilities that are non-damaging, so he could generate a lot of extra attacks. So I really like Kingpin there as the 5th, but I'm not worried about it. At the end of the day, the reason why I don't have a strong definitive answer to that is I don't know how we're going to get them. I don't know when we're going to get them. We'll see where the meta's at and what the character availability is at when we get there. It's in my opinion, it's not worth worrying about yet.
Yes, I agree. All right. Hela.
On Hela. So I like Hela. Hela, there's one thing that people are kind of overlooking from Hela. Everyone's focused on like, oh, Greg, what if you do this? Could you make an army of Gregs? All this. Greg doesn't impress me that much. Like, it's fun. Greg is like a fun mechanic, and it's not bad or weak, but Hela has one particular ability that is like, that's her thing. And it's her ultimate, and it's not getting enough attention. Hela's ultimate is the debuff queen of the game. She picks one target, takes all the debuffs on it, and gives it to everybody. So now you can pick one beefy target, load them up with 12 bleed stacks and disrupt and slow defense down, just ability block. And there's so many characters that like extend debuffs now, like Graviton can extend everything, Scarlet Witch can extend everything. So you can just make someone's life like 5 turns of pure hell, and then Hela will just show up and make it for everybody. Yeah. And that's just, and she gains a ton of focus for that too. It's just insanely good. So yeah, Hela, her damage isn't that crazy. Her kit's interesting. It's fun. Greg's kind of easy to deal with, but it's fun having like this. You have to be preoccupied and keep killing Greg, or else Greg will punish you. But her ult is where it's at. Her ult is going to be used for some really fun combos. It's just a better Venom ult. So I'm looking forward to using it.
I'm looking forward to her as well. I'm kind of looking forward to that Greg, the reviving, but not when I'm facing him. It's like if you ever played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, it's like a bad version of the Night Sisters, or a worse version of the Night Sisters.
Wait. So,
okay.
I got a lot more for this. I'm sorry, I told you this would be a long one.
This is gonna be a very long video.
It is, but you're about to hear some really cool, really goofy, really fun stuff.
Okay.
Firstly, though, I did want to address this before we get into the fun stuff, which is everyone's like theory crafting, like what are the Asgardians going to be good for? What's going on with the Asgardian reworks, etc., etc. So I may or may not know things about Asgardian reworks, and I may or may not have been asking Fox Next about what can and can't be said, and of course not getting clear answers. Given there was a recent NDA violation, I'm trying to play it safe. So I'll simply say this. There's nothing confirmed happening with a Thor rework, nothing confirmed happening with a Loki rework, anything like that. My guess is that we will still see Asgardian reworks, and my guess is that we'll see them sooner rather than later, but none of that is confirmed or anything, so we'll see. But I would, if you're a fan of Thor, if you're a fan of Loki, things like that, I think it's okay to be hopeful. You don't have to take this as a sign of like, guess that they're definitely never getting improved. As for what they're going to be used for, and obviously they're an incomplete team, but they seem to be being geared for war defense.
Yeah. Same thing with the Marauders as well.
Yes, the Marauders seem to be being geared for war defense. And so the thing about, in particular, like if you look at Hela's kit, the whole thing with Greg is every time Greg dies, there's some healing going on.
Yep.
There's just sustain. And Greg will blow himself up and do healing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're looking like a really crazy sustain heavy war defense team from what we've seen so far. Now on to the fun goofy stuff. Someone pointed this out. Actually, a few people have at this point. One person on Reddit, one person on my video comments, someone on my Discord, and I can't wait to see this. A strong enough Black Panther can get infinite turns against Hela.
It's true. It's true.
Kill Greg, take a turn. Kill Greg, take a turn. Kill Greg, take a turn.
Until he's got he's got his ultimate up, and
which kills Greg and gives him another turn. People. Yeah. Kill Greg, take a turn. Kill Greg, take a turn. Kill Greg, take a turn. Are you healing the crap out of the Asgardians? Yes. Are you constantly ulting and melting everyone else? Yes. So Oh, and if you have Minerva on your team, your whole team is just going to be full health forever.
Oh my goodness.
Right? I said it's a messy patch, and when I say messy, like I don't think like they broke too many things. I just think that we've gotten to the point now where there might be some unintended consequences. They might want to put like a limit on how many Gregs can be on the field. Like Greg can respawn a total of like 20 times in a match or something like that. Otherwise,
you know what? I kind of like that. I kind of like that though. You know what? Black Panther just keeps going, like that never-ending battle. I don't know if you remember that a while ago, Wolverine versus Shield Medic, and they just keep hitting each other until it kind of times out.
But you're talking about a 1v1, but this isn't a 1v1. This is every time BP's ult comes up, he does damage to everyone else. So It's just one BP is gonna murder her whole team except for her.
I want to try that. I want to try that. I don't want them to fix it yet. It might be broken, but I want to try it first before I get the push to really fix it.
Make my Wakandans a hard counter to someone on war offense. I'd love it.
It might be cool. It might be cool.
That's the first goofy thing. Now we'll talk about another goofy thing. So Hela on spawn summons an undead Asgardian. So if Hela dies, but Greg is still alive, and then you revive Hela while Greg is still alive, on spawn, she should spawn an undead Asgardian.
Well, is reviving considered a spawn in this game? Like if Drax gets revived,
he gets Drax comes back with taunt.
Okay.
So for most people, it's considered a spawn. I think Ultron comes back with like what his energy ability level energy is supposed to be on spawn. I think for most people, it's just a fresh spawn. So again, remains to be seen. But theoretically, you could then have a Hela with 2 undead Asgardians. But the way her passive is worded, if an undead Asgardian dies, she spawns a new one. So then she could be double healing and having double Gregs. Right. This brings us to what if you already have a Hela and you clone a Hela.
Oh my goodness.
Now, not only do you have 2 Gregs, but when one Greg dies, 2 Helas are gonna see that happen and go, oh, I need to make a Greg. So you're gonna be getting 2 ones on Greg.
This could be crazy. This could be crazy, guys.
I don't know what's going on with this patch. Maybe if last patch was the Khasino patch, this patch was we need to make sure Khasino sounds like he has no idea what he's talking about patch. Because I have no idea what's going on.
They're getting back at you. They're getting back at you for calling it the Casino patch last time.
For real. But so, yeah, a cloned Hela plus your own Hela should be 2 Gregs for every 1 dead Greg. So Greg joins Hydra.
Oh my goodness.
Whenever you have 2 Helas. So, yeah, there's some more fun edge cases like that.
Well, she summoned the whole army in the movie, so... I don't know.
On war defense, she'll summon a new Greg in place of every dead Asgardian.
Yes.
So she's gonna have an undead zombie horde.
Oh my goodness.
For the record, though, this isn't like unbeatable. The solution, you just kill Hela. Once Hela's dead, no more Gregs.
Yeah.
So you just gotta burst Hela out, and then it won't be so much of a problem.
She is the primary target.
But with all the Gregs healing her, it could be tough.
Cool. But, before this gets to like a 2-hour video, let's move on. What are your thoughts on some of these reworks? Sabretooth, just quick thoughts. Sabretooth, Mystique, Mordo, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch. What is your favorite of all of the 5 reworks that we got?
I mean, the Mystique one's really tiny. It's, aside from Marauder synergy, they just made her basic better. Mm-hmm. I like her Marauder synergy, making her special flip buffs. I think that's great. Same thing with Sabretooth. His synergy is pretty much exclusively Marauder. The attacking on non-damaging abilities is like, okay, now he'll hit you when Juggernaut taunts on the Brotherhood, but it's like mostly nothing. But I like it. It's a tiny little tweak. So those 2, I'm like, They basically just got changed to be better on Marauder, which we haven't seen. The Supernatural team, I love all the changes. Scarlet Witch actually defense downing people with her ult, so it makes sense to use it on turn 1. I like Mordo actually healing other people instead of just being a selfish jerk, giving that ability energy to the team. I like.
He's a bad guy. He's supposed to be a selfish jerk.
Yeah, maybe, but whatever. I just want him to, pull his weight. I think I have good red stars on my Mordo, at least like 5. So I've been like waiting for him to be good enough to use. So I like him as a healer. Doctor Strange, though, my favorite. Doctor Strange got exactly what he needed on his team. But yeah, like healing a little bit on each turn, and then anytime they get a positive buff, he gets a deflect. That's really helping his survivability. Ghost Rider giving everyone tons of health. I'm really happy with those reworks. I hate that the reworks are tied to their team, but seeing as that's the direction the game is going, is trying to kind of assign everyone a team. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I think Doctor Strange is my favorite of the reworks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below, guys. Coulson. You just unlocked Coulson, and you were playing with him a little bit. How do you think he is at 4 stars right now? I know you got to test him at 7 stars or whatever it was on that test server. How do you like him now at 4 stars?
So that's a question I'm getting a lot asked a lot. Is like, how viable is Coulson at 4 star? Now I also am at 4 red star. But that's for like super end game. That's pretty standard. You eventually get every character to 4 red star without too much trouble. It's getting anything higher than that. That's very unlikely.
Yeah.
But so most of what he does is utility. They're not things that he needs raw stats for, like giving everyone immunity, giving everyone extra % health on spawn, giving everyone extra % resistance, giving everyone 2 stacks of offense up, calling 2 other people to attack. Like, he doesn't need good stats for any of that.
Yeah.
There was one thing in Blitz that I kept running into that could be an issue in War, and that is, so he does a few things. He in War, he strips all the buffs off of his victim. Then, whether in War or not, he defense downs his victim and puts a taunt on them. And that's what screws them. Like, not only are they going to get hit by 2 offensed up, the highest damage assisters, he's going to do his offense up AoE. That team with Fury Shield has all the extra crit, but what screws the person is then they're stuck there. Not only did they just get crippled if they're still alive, now they're standing there with defense down and taunt, and the rest of the Fury Shield team gets to take their turns, and they all just one by one just rail this person.
And how's that been working?
Well, so I obviously haven't tested him in Alliance War.
Okay.
Defense yet. Actually, literally, he's probably being fought in my Alliance War right now. I have him on defense. If you want, I can take a second. I have it open in the other window. I can see how my War defense is doing. They were in my room, so I can see how the War defense did. If you want, I can check. But my Fury Shield Coulson defense took out an X-Men team.
Oh my goodness! What was the power levels of each?
My defense team was 324k, and they tried to punch up with a 289k X-Men.
Oh my goodness!
With a giant Phoenix too.
So
their Phoenix is huge. So their Phoenix, like, that should have gone in their favor. Their Phoenix died first, and they still got wrecked. I think the immunity kept the Dark Phoenix from giving anyone defense down, and then they had to bring in a power armor to clean it up. So, I'll take that, a power armor and an X-Men team for my one Fury
My
Shield
goodness, team. That is crazy. You took out 2 meta teams with that one.
I'll take it. In Blitz, it doesn't work that way because he gets none of the perks of being on the Fury Shield team outside of War. He doesn't get the speed up on spawn. He doesn't get the speed up on turn. He doesn't get the offense up if called for an assist. He doesn't get the armor and resistance from security. He doesn't get the heal from the Fury special. Like, he literally gets nothing. If it's not War defense, he might as well not be on the Fury Shield team, which is something I do want to talk about in just a sec, because I actually think that it's kind of a blessing in other game modes. But anyway, for War defense specifically, he's incredible. So what I was saying was, my concern is whether or not he has the focus, and keep in mind, offense.
That was going to be my question. Yeah.
Offense upraise your focus, but does he have the focus to apply the defense down and the taunt? Because both those things can be resisted.
Yeah.
In Blitz, punching up 150k, it depends on who he picks. The other thing is, though, I'm like, one match he picked Groot. Groot happened to have the highest damage. So when FoxNex tested it, all things being equal, picking the person with the highest damage, it was always someone vulnerable with kind of low resistance, because they were using perfectly balanced teams. So it picked War Machine on Power Armor, it picked Rocket on Guardians, etc. But
in this world of red stars, that you get random people with high damage, it might not work.
Exactly. In Blitz, I had to pick JJ. JJ didn't get defense down and didn't get the taunt. It picked a Groot. Groot laughed at everyone, didn't care about the damage. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what people attack it with. But when it did pick a damage dealer, the focus was enough and it murked them. There was a 7 red star Deadpool that just got evaporated. So it works pretty well when it picks the target that you want it to.
Yeah.
But people can throw that off by attacking into it, like just bringing a giant high red star tank to have the highest base damage. But yeah, just pay attention to who the highest base damage is when you go in. But you can sort of bait the team. On X-Men, if Phoenix is your highest, they'll just kill Phoenix for you right away and bring Dark Phoenix out onto the field. So interesting to see how it performs. It's hard for me to guess the frequency with how often it'll pick a good target versus a bad target. Yeah. But so now kind of switching over to how good he is overall. I kind of like that he's terrible with Fury Shield out of war. Side note,
why is that?
I'll talk about it in a sec. But so it also made me remember to say this. I've seen on Reddit and on the comments on my video, tons of people saying, in theory, you can keep Fury Shield for war on offense, and then you can just run this other Coulson defense team. I cannot be more clear about this. 100% put Coulson with Fury Shield on war defense. There is no other team you can put Coulson on that is even kind of as good. Whatever, if you want to make him like 5th X-Men, whatever, but that's not what we're talking about. There is no like Shield hybrid, Fury Shield hybrid. No, don't use Quake. Use the full Fury Shield minion team. Leave off Operative and Trooper and put Coulson on for war defense. That will 100% do the best. No question. I'm very confident in that. If you want to experiment, be my guest, but good luck to you.
And why do you like that he sucks out of war?
Because there is a team that he's actually way better on that needed the help. And that team is winning a lot for me in Blitz. And that is the standard Shield team. So what I've done is I've taken Medic off of my Fury Shield minion team. But now I have Trooper and Operative on that team. And that team's still fine. It's still the Fury Shield team with Trooper and Operative. They do just fine. Okay. Pulling Medic and Coulson off, you pair them with Quake, Black Widow, and Captain America. And as you know, like the classic Avengers team, the Wave 1 Avengers team has not been the strongest. Yeah. That Shield team that I just said, which is again, Captain America, Black Widow, Quake, Coulson, and Medic, I have been having tons of success with in 8-3 of Blitz, even with my only 4-star Coulson, just smashing through teams. I have a video of it on my YouTube channel right now. You can go check out. You can tune in the live stream where you'll see even more gameplay, but that team's been crushing it. So I'm kind of happy he doesn't fit on Fury Shield because I have two teams now. Okay. I didn't think I would get 2 teams out of that, but I did. If you try to run him with Fury Shield, he does okay, but he doesn't get the speed up on spawn. So where in war, he goes first and offense ups everyone before their first turn volley. In Blitz, he goes last after everyone takes their first turn. Then he offense ups. It's all weird. It's not horrible, but it's not ideal. It does not work the same at all. Well, so
I don't have him unlocked yet. I hope to try all these things out and use the teams that you said because sounds fun. And I really liked using him in the test server. But that kind of leads to my next question because they're releasing all these war defensive teams. And I know the devs, when we were at their office, they had the concerns about all these defensive teams because you know, you invest in these characters, you build these characters, and you never really get to see them shine because they're on defense. You might see a win here, a win there. What are your general thoughts on this? Because I would like to see Coulson at his best, and right now we don't have a chance to see that unless we're going against someone that already has Coulson on defense. What are your thoughts on all these defensive teams coming to the game?
I have 2 very strong thoughts on this, which I'm about to share. But so, as you'll know, I mean, you've known me for almost 2 years now, at least, right? Every once in a while, I'll see a cause or an idea, and I'm like, this is a really, really good cause. This is a really, really good idea. And I'll start pushing for it really hard. Mm-hmm. So as part of the answer to this question, someone made a suggestion that I think is an amazing suggestion that I really want to start campaigning hard for. So if you remember when we were there in the office, they were saying, oh, you know, we noticed it's all about the offense on war. So to fix that, we're coming out with a lot of defense teams. Yeah. And the first thing I said was, well, defense teams aren't fun. They're frustrating to fight against, and you don't get to enjoy them. Like you're making teams for the computer. So I wish they wouldn't do that. It's okay to have a few strong defense teams, but my suggestion I think would have been way better, which was make the room buffs, debuffs, etc. just tougher. Like if you want the rooms to be hard, just say like, all right, in this room, all defending teams gain 200% health. Boom, now defense is tougher. You can still use whatever teams you want, but if you make really strong room handicaps, you can make really interesting combos. And this is kind of what I mentioned them, is like a lot of the rooms, like, oh, okay, everyone gets counter, like, all right, like that, you don't have to change too much to fight around that. You know what I mean? Just a lot of the rooms are inconsequential. So that's the first thing. I wish instead of making war teams, they would make the rooms more challenging, and then we'll figure out.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. It's more fun. You get to enjoy these characters. And I think they were going that direction at some point, because they talked about all these room upgrades. You put upgrade rooms, and then they just we haven't heard about it for months at this point. So I don't know. I think this is the direction they went with. Let's make some characters that people could buy instead of upgrading, letting them upgrade rooms.
So I'm gonna keep saying, but there is a really good fix to it. Even in the meantime, I heard an idea that I was like, this is the best idea. Every once in a while you hear an idea and you're like, why didn't I come up with that?
Yeah.
This was the best idea ever. I'm gonna start pushing for this really, really hard. Someone was like, hey, since a lot of these new characters coming out are for war defense and we don't get to enjoy them performing like they're supposed to, what if they just made Blitz count for all the mode specific stuff? Like just all mode specific stuff is active in Blitz.
Oh, okay, yeah, because
that changes
not as
nothing in the competitive landscape at all.
Yeah, I like
but
that.
But it's way more fun. You get to experience.
Smart.
Like, I want to know about how good this team will do in Raid. Okay, let me try it in Blitz and see how it goes. So like, Mantis having extra health in Raid, Wakandan's having extra health in Blitz. Like if it happens to everyone, it breaks nothing.
I would love that.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be fun. Blitz gets everything.
I'm gonna start making a lot of noise.
Whoever had that idea, I like you. That was a good idea.
Thank you. It wasn't my idea, but I'm taking it and running with it.
Oh, I like you too, but I like the guy that came up with that idea a lot as well.
So do I. I wish I could remember to credit them, actually. I don't even remember who said
it. Well, if you remember it and you before this video goes up, message me, and it is shown on the screen right now. If you don't remember it, then it's not on the screen. All right. Ultimus 7. This is the thing that a lot of people are waiting for. We've had the first strike version come. It was tough. It is a lot tougher. Have you had a chance to play any of the nodes yet?
Oh yeah, I did it on stream. I played quite a few.
How many did you get through before it became super hard?
Before it became super hard, maybe like 2, but I pushed through to like the 5th node anyway.
Nice. So I mean, even I reached out to some of the guys at the main pans of Hulk, and they said it's insanely hard, even for them. Some of the top rosters in the game, and it is insanely hard for them. What are your thoughts on this? Because initially I'm like, this is horrible. Why is it so hard? But then I thought, you know what? Someone made a comment on Reddit. I don't know who made it. That the last Ultimus 6 lasted for about a year. So if this is going to last for a year, it's not the worst thing. So what are your thoughts on the difficulty? Because it is crazy hard. My goodness.
I got a few thoughts on the difficulty. So the first thing is obviously, we're still going to get stronger. So the raid is designed for characters at level 75. And at level 75, you can get another gear tier. So don't know how hard or easy it'll be to get to gear tier 14, but theoretically your characters should be able to gain a bunch of levels and a bunch of at least another gear tier, which will help. The other thing is with level 75, one of the biggest things is the focus and resistance jump ups are massive. So it gets a little bit easier when most of your debuffs have at least a decent chance of sticking, and you at least have like some of a realistic chance to actually resist debuffs. So that's going to be a big deal. So it's going to get a lot easier once we're all 75, which I'm thinking like a few months from now, most people should be 75 probably. So that'll make it easier. But I mean, they made it really tough, and it's supposed to be a challenge. It's supposed to be really tough. And, I'd be disappointed if people were like, oh, it's kind of hard, but we 100%ed it. Like, well, then we're back to not really being challenged. Yeah. So it's good. You want some content where you look forward to like, hey, I need to get stronger so I can beat this.
Yes, just Foxnex, don't change the goalposts on this one. Do not.
I agree with that
at all. Don't change it at all. Leave it like this. Don't make this harder as it comes.
I agree with that. And then so the other thing is we're supposed to eventually get ISO 8, right? There's no like date on that or anything, but eventually we're supposed to get ISO 8. And I don't think they plan on adding it because that would be kind of moving the goalpost if they went in and added it to the raid. But if they add it into us, it should make us stronger and make the raid easier.
Yes.
So
it should balance out. You're right. Rewards were a little lower than I think a lot of people expected. I know you were one of the ones thinking hopefully we'll get a lot of orange mats to build up the Wakandans because the Wakandans at level 75 will dominate this, but a little lower than I think a lot of people, including myself, were expecting. What are your thoughts on these rewards? They did say they were going to be less than with the first strike, but what are your thoughts on how low it actually is?
It's slightly low for my taste. Like I definitely would want it a little bit higher, but I don't think it's as low as people think, and I'll explain why. So let's assume that you can do 30%. Okay. You're going to get like 2 or 3. So let's say 3. You know, you're really serious about this. So you're going to be pushing towards the top of 30%, not a tall order. The mini boss nodes also give 1 T4 mat. So if you're going to 30% and you kill 2 mini boss nodes, you can get 5 per raid. And you can do this every day. So in a week, you're getting 35. So every week getting 35 more orange T4 mats, it's not.
Well, that's assuming you're like the top 6 in your alliance or whatever, right? And you're killing those mini bosses. So if you're not, you're getting 2 a day, and that's what, 10 a week. So
that's you're only getting 2 a day if you're killing no mini bosses. So I was actually looking at 60%, and again, like I said, it's a little low for my taste, but I was looking at 60%. At 60%, you're going to get 4 on the low end, and then if you can kill 2 mini bosses, you're at 6 a day. I
guess it'll eventually start to ramp up and make it easier.
Yeah,
I think everybody was expecting a little bit more from these things, though.
I'm sure we were, but so they again. I obviously I wish they'd give us more, especially with all the new characters coming out. We have an increased need for T4s, especially when they go back and change a bunch of old characters to need them. But they've learned again when they give out too many and have to scale back, everyone gets mad. Yeah. When they give too few, then they can give out more, and everyone's happy and excited. So I'm being a little bit patient. Like maybe they'll have some login calendars or stuff where they'll give us more T4s. But if you can get 60% in the raid, which is very tough, but if you can get 60% in the raid, you can, on average, get about 1 ability a month, like 1 full extra T4 ability, which is not.
Plus, if you're doing that, you're going to be ranking up very high in the raid season. So, that's about 1 a week just from that. One a week from that when you alternate with the war season stuff. So,
yep, they've been slowly expanding the amount of them that we get. So, yeah, I'd like more. But, yeah, that's the other thing people forget is, like, this is every day. So they're comparing it to what the rewards were when you could do 1 a week. Yeah. This you can do 7 times. So you kind of have to look at the rewards and multiply them by 7. And that's about how they should compare to the old one,
Yeah. I mean, my initial thought was, whoa, this is crazy. This is way too hard. The rewards are horrible. But I thought, this is supposed to last for a while. If everybody's completing this in like a month, autoing this again, then we're kind of back to where we were a couple months ago, waiting for Ultimus 8 at that point. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the long-term wise, this is not the worst thing. As long as the 30% is above the 100% for Ultimus 6, which it's very, very close. It's very close, but I think it is slightly. The only thing, you're not getting the blue mat, so
right,
makes it harder for newer characters.
Newer players, yeah, not getting the blue gear.
Newer characters, newer players aren't going to be in this raid, but for newer characters when they come out, so
you're right. I had a NyQuil moment there.
I'm supposed to have the NyQuil moment.
I know. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So yeah, I mean, like everyone else, I definitely would like more T4s, but T4s are like the rare items. Some people are like, oh no, the real rare item are the orange uniques. Like, well, orange uniques are super rare, but getting an orange unique isn't like, yeah, I'm so much stronger now. Whereas like getting a batch of those T4s is like, I'm about to make a serious change to my gaming experience. Whereas like even a 5-stack of some orange uniques, like maybe you get one character, one extra gear item to go up to gear tier 13. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like the difference in my character's 5 items gear tier 12 to gear tier 13 is not a lot. So the big jump is whenever I can invest a T4. So, you know, they can't have it where you have enough T4s for everyone. It's supposed to be a game of resource management, and they have to have that rare valuable resource you get that you have to make tough decisions about who to spend it on. And so that's a T4. So of course we all want more of them.
Let me just make one comment about T4. The thing I like about T4, that's something within your control. Those orange uniques, those are so random. You have no control over when they come into store. I don't like that. But the T4s, you know, I like that you have the control of which character you want to make stronger, which skill in the character you want to make stronger, and you could choose.
I agree completely. I agree completely. I don't like randomness on anything. I don't see the need for randomness, but you know, it's just,
this is not a slot machine game. This is supposed to be a game of skill, of building things correctly and planning your battles. It's supposed to be. It's not
always. It's supposed to be somewhere in the middle.
So, Highway to Halloween event is coming soon. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but it is coming this week. If my memory is correct, even with the NyQuil. The 17th. So it is out the day that this video is released. So what are your thoughts on this event coming? You think these are going to be some hard milestones?
I think they're going to be very similar to Namor. I think they probably had some success with Namor, and I think that they kind of... I think they see results for something, and they don't fully understand why. So like my guess is a lot of people worked really hard for Namor's milestones, and a lot of people bought Namor offers. I think there was a ton of buzz around Namor. And because so they probably
because of the Fantastic Four.
Exactly. So they probably thought, oh, this was a huge success. We need to release more characters like this. So they're probably releasing characters like Namor. So it seems to be like the same release method. They might have tweaked drop rates or whatever, but seems to be pretty similar. But again, I think they're kind of misreading it. Not that I minded how Namor was released, but everyone just kind of assumed you needed him for this new amazing Fantastic Four team. Ghost Rider, very popular. People still probably really go hard for Ghost Rider, but it doesn't seem like you need Ghost Rider for this new super amazing team for something. So we'll see.
Well, the Ghost Rider does have a little more standalone value than Namor, so that is a plus for him. We also got the release method for Elsa Bloodstone. She will be an event campaign. And so two out of the 5 new characters at least are not being released via Blitz. So a little more to that tinfoil hat theory of maybe this is the way to ease the strain on Blitz, because this is a while that we went without a hard new character Blitz.
If you remember, Namor was Blitz milestone, so even though it wasn't Namor in the Blitz, you had to do a lot of Blitz. You were getting extra rewards for doing it, but you had to Blitz a lot for the Blitz milestones that got you Namor. So yes, Ghost Rider is not going to be the Blitz character, but to get more Ghost Rider, you're going to have to do a lot of Blitz.
Well, here's my thing. It's very different doing a lot of Blitz on auto at tier 1, which you can do for the Ghost Rider event, than playing all of these at 8.3 against some meta teams that you're trying to score high on. So for me, that is a big difference. I don't know if that's a big difference for you, but that's a big difference for me.
You raise an excellent point. That's true. You can do a lot more autoing.
Yeah. It's not as bad to hit auto, leave your phone, and do something else than to look at the match and pay attention to, because one wrong move against these crazy punch ups at 8.3, you're done and you're dropping back down to 8. So it is different, even though the time spent is same. But you're autoing, so you could do other stuff as well.
You're absolutely right. You make a good point. I'll give you that.
Thank you. So I still have some coherency with the NyQuil flowing through my veins. And as with every single release, There's a new Datamine. We got some new Datamines. Anything really stand out in here to you? There's a lot in here. Nothing super huge that stood out to me. Is there anything I'm missing here? Or should we just run through everything?
I'm looking. I didn't even have a chance to look at all the Datamines, so I'm just going through my own channel. We found out who uses what uniques. So Elsa uses arcane magic. Mr. Sinister uses ballistic weave. Stryfe titanium alloy. Ghost Rider and Hela use the new miasma. There's the sweet treats, double trick or treat shards for all those characters.
Let me read them out. Mystique, Groot, Green Goblin, Venom, Doctor Strange, and Loki. I guess these are like Halloweenish characters. Is that the theme that you're getting? And Groot fits in there, what? Because he's a tree.
I guess. Yeah, he's supposed to be scary.
There's a gold crypt. You got increased gold from campaign. No date on that, but it's supposed to last for 24 hours. There's a new team up tales, which are always fun.
Okay. I'm actually most excited for that. So there is a new team up tales with Ghost Rider. Cool.
Nice.
Those are fun.
We talked about the Blitz milestones coming, the Monster Mash milestone. There's a Pumpkin Smash milestone by opening the Jack-o'-lantern orbs. So similar to those Marvel 80th orbs for the Namor event. There's something interesting here with Google Play Points redemption. It doesn't have a cost, but I'm not sure what this is. You guys are seeing this on screen. I'm not sure what the heck this is going to be. You have any guesses as to what this Datamine would mean? Just looks like some purchases, right?
Yeah, I don't know how you'd get the Google Play points, but
yeah,
it looks like extra stuff for doing stuff through Google Play. So if you only have an iOS device, you might want to get BlueStacks. So that
BlueStacks, there's a link down below, guys. 60 frames per second, looks very nice. Elsa Bloodstone, this is confirming her event. I think, let me just read this briefly. Yes, confirming her event. And then we got a lot of character descriptions here. Beast, Elsa, Ghost Rider, Greg, Hela, Mr. Sinister, and Stryfe.
I do want to back up and just comment on this one thing, which is it looks like there's trick-or-treat characters in Elsa's orb. So that's not confirmation that you need to use trick-or-treat characters to get her, but it looks that way, right? Isn't it normally the characters in the orb are the same pool of characters?
Yeah, usually, and then they usually add a few extras as well. All right, and it looks like we got a lot of the trick-or-treat characters. You see them on screen. Doctor Strange, Mordo, Scarlet Witch, Monstrosity, Mysterio. There's a bunch of rows here. Ghost Rider. We got about 1, 2, 3, 4. We got about 20 of them. Tell everybody where they could find you, Khasino.
I stream Marvel Strike Force every single day on Twitch, twitch.tv/Khasino, every day at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I got a YouTube channel if you want to see like Coulson gameplay footage or any of that. And anyone's welcome to join my Discord server, discord.gg/Khasino for blitz predictions, infographics, videos, data mines, content creator Q&A, and more.
Cool. Well, check it out, guys. Links are down below. Once again, shout out to our sponsor, ClanHQ. Make sure you check out that link as well. There's some links for some Valley merch and Patreon, BlueStacks, all that stuff, guys. I'm on social media, and I'll see you next time. If you like this video, subscribe, share this with your friends. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin, out.